Gotta love that sound, man. You gotta love that sound.
You
What's going on, everybody? We are back, JV Wins Dogon SS, with another edition of the Conscious Approach live stream channel on YouTube. Appreciate everybody out there who has been joining us along for the ride. Before we get things kicked off, as always, want to say go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video as we continue to kick out that logical content. Also, we are now available wherever you can get your podcasts. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as Amazon Podcasts. If you fancy that particular place to get your podcast, we are just trying to be available in as many places and on as many channels as possible. So whether you want to get your video fix or audio fix, we just want to be around. If you are so inclined to check out what we like to do over here. If you're new, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to do that. This is kind of how we like to kick it each and every video upload each and every week. So strap in. We appreciate you being here. The progress that we've made thus far, we couldn't have done it without all the people who have valued the kind of content and commentary that we bring to this wild, crazy world that we now live in. Now, with that out of the way, we are going to go ahead and get right into it because the first topic, man, very, very interested to talk about this and hear what Dogon, as well as the rest of the community, has to say. Last 24 hours have been pretty crazy in the sports media world. I'm going to just break it down as fast as possible because there's a lot of layers to this. So there is a former hairstylist who worked for Fox Sports who has filed a lawsuit against Fox Corporation on the grounds of sexual assault or sexual harassment, rather, not assault, but sexual harassment. And in the lawsuit, there's a lot of things that are being alleged. The main people who are being called out in this lawsuit are Joy Taylor, staple on Fox Sports, Emmanuel Acho, Skip Bayless, as well as a Fox Sports executive, a guy who goes by the name Dixon. His last name is Dixon. What's his full name? What is this guy's name?
Forget.
Something Dixon. Charlie Dixon. That's his name. Charlie Dixon. Charlie Dixon, who's a high-ranking executive at Fox. These individuals are all being named in the lawsuit. I want to get right into talking about this, so I don't want to belabor the introduction. But to try to make a long story short, the hairstylist is alleging that Joy Taylor was engaged in sexual relationships with both Emmanuel Acho and the Fox Sports executive in an effort to advance her career. Furthermore, the hairstylist alleges that Skip Bayless at one point inappropriately offered up sort of like a sex for money type situation. And when the hairstylist confided in Joy Taylor about the fact that Skip Bayless did this, the hairstylist alleges that Joy Taylor told her to get over it because this is kind of what happens. She also suggests that Joy Taylor said that once she has acquired enough power, once Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would use the sexual relationship to her advantage by going to HR and saying that he forced himself on her.
Oh.
So there's a lot going on with this. It's real spicy, juicy tea type stuff. And then Acho was a part of this because apparently Joy and Acho were also getting it in at some point, and that was also being used as a leverage play to get Joy Taylor promotions and have her be elevated to get onto different shows at Fox whenever she saw fit or saw an opportunity to get ahead at Fox. So I'm going to get right into the article because the article kind of summarizes all of this. I'm going to try and read through this as quickly as possible because there's a lot going on. So this says Fox Sports' Joy Taylor slept with ex-NFL star Emmanuel Acho and network exec to advance career, suit claims. FS1 host Joy Taylor used sexual relationships with ex-NFL star co-host Emmanuel Acho and network executive Charlie Dixon to further her career, according to the bombshell lawsuit facing a number of sports media's biggest names. What's more, the glamorous 37-year-old broadcaster allegedly schemed to protect her job at the network by fabricating a sexual misconduct allegation against Dixon, a Fox Sports executive vice president in charge of talent. Once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to Taylor, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her, reads a portion of the lawsuit filed Friday in Los Angeles Superior Court on behalf of ex FS1 stylist Noushin Faraji. Taylor, Dixon, former FS1 host Skip Bayless, and the Fox Corporation are named in Faraji's lawsuit, much of which focuses on allegations of sexual harassment, sexual battery, negligent supervision, retaliation, and other hostile workplace issues between 2012 and August of 2024. Bayless is accused of offering $1.5 million to Faraji for sex, while Dixon is accused of groping the stylist's buttocks. Taylor herself is accused of dismissing Faraji's complaints about sexual harassment against Bayless and Dixon, telling the hairstylist to get over it. But in addition to those allegations are Faraji's claims that Taylor leveraged sex to advance her career, first with Dixon and then with Acho, the retired NFL linebacker and Taylor's co-host on FS1 Speak. With Dixon, Faraji began to suspect that he and Taylor were having an affair in 2016, despite both being married at the time. In approximately May 2016, Ms. Taylor asked Ms. Faraji to meet for a drink in Santa Monica, read the lawsuit obtained by DailyMail.com. When Ms. Faraji arrived, she found Ms. Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports Executive Vice President of Content, Mr. Dixon. As executive vice president, Mr. Dixon is responsible for overseeing all content and production on FS1. Ms. Faraji, however, did not know Mr. Dixon. From their body language, Ms. Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other, and although this concerned Ms. Faraji as she knew Ms. Taylor was recently married, Ms. Faraji kept her opinions to herself. Taylor was just a fill-in host at the time, but was later added to the network in a full-time role. And according to Faraji, that decision was made at Dixon's insistence over the objections of Bayless. Mr. Bayless later disclosed to Ms. Faraji that he did not want Ms. Taylor on the show, but Mr. Dixon was adamant that Ms. Taylor should star, the filing reads. At first, Mr. Dixon arranged a dinner between Ms. Bayless and Ms. Taylor where she arrived in provocative clothing and acted in a provocative manner. When that did not change Mr. Bayless's opinion of Ms. Taylor, Mr. Dixon asked him to approve of her as a favor to him. Reluctantly, Mr. Bayless agreed to do so as a favor to his friend. Taylor would soon split with her husband, Richard Giannotti, who is not named in the suit. And according to Faraji, it was because of Taylor's now ex-discovered proof of her infidelity. Around August 2016, Ms. Faraji attended a dinner with Ms. Taylor and her husband and Mr. Dixon and his wife. During the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband became suspicious that Ms. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a sexual relationship. Soon after the dinner, Ms. Taylor's husband found evidence of the inappropriate relationship and divorced Ms. Taylor. Taylor is again accused of using her sexuality to get on a show in 2020 when she sought a spot on Acho's program. Ms. Faraji did not know Mr. Acho, but could tell that the two were romantically involved. According to Faraji, Taylor all but admitted to having sex with Acho and dismissed talk of any jealousy by Dixon. A few months after meeting Mr. Acho at the lunch, Ms. Faraji noticed him in the hallway while at work. Ms. Faraji later asked Ms. Taylor if Mr. Acho also worked at Fox. Ms. Taylor confirmed and explained that she wanted Mr. Acho to eventually recommend her on the show Speak for Yourself. Ms. Faraji became alarmed and warned Ms. Taylor that she should probably not sleep with Mr. Dixon and Mr. Acho at the same time. And Mr. Dixon is a very powerful man that may become very angry. Ms. Taylor told her not to worry about it. She explained that she was also now powerful. And once Mr. Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would follow through on her plan to tell the company that he forced himself on her. She would not allow herself to be forced out by Mr. Dixon like other women talent. Curiously, Acho has since deleted a social media of himself praising Taylor for her professionalism. Fox has released Fox has released a brief statement, although Taylor, Bayless, and Acho have remained silent on the issue. We take these allegations seriously and will allow the legal process to run its course. Read the statement. We have no further comment at this time. Daily Mail has reached out to Taylor's representatives and her foundation for comment. Attorneys for Bayless, Dixon, and Taylor have not yet been provided to Los Angeles Superior Court. The sister of former Miami Dolphin star Jason Taylor, Joy Taylor, was engaged to former NBA player turned coach Earl Watson, although the pair has since split. And that pretty much wraps up that summation there. So, bro, there's a lot here. There's a lot going on. This is extended over into pop culture, news reporting, mainstream world with entities like People Magazine talking about this. It's all over the place on YouTube and podcast world. If you listen to podcasts or watch YouTube channels with people who do sports media. So there's a lot going on here. Most of it seems to be centered around Joy Taylor, but they do mention the other people. But I feel like the meat of it is with what Joy Taylor is alleged to have had going on with this. So, what do you make of this very ugly, nasty, filthy, disgusting situation that is alleged to have happened at Fox from this former hairstylist?
I mean, this is as messy as you can get. This is absolutely. When I first heard this, I was like, Skip trying to procure the box. It's like I can see that, you know. But then, as it went on, and the part that made my eyebrows raise was the Joy Taylor saying that, she was just gonna fake the funk and say that she was forced into this, which is pretty damning. That's a damning thing to put on somebody. And I don't know how she's gonna prove this unless she was basically, recording, wearing a wire or something. But I don't know how she's gonna prove that that was Joy's agenda. Because I think also in the lawsuit, it was basically saying that Joy was basically said she's just going to follow through with her plan, as if this was her whole diabolical chess moves.
Right.
That she was going to be doing for this thing. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm surprised when it comes to certain women in these on these sports networks that are there for eye candy, that they were, casting couched to get into that role. So, of course, Dolphin fan here. So, you don't want to see Jason Taylor's sister go out like that. And he was hoping that she just made it off the muscle of her brother, and just her type of pull that way. But it seems as though, according to this hairstylist, that she was displaying other skills to get this position. I don't know if you've got any photos of the hairdresser, man, but we saw that picture floating on the thing with Skip and Ernestine.
Yeah.
And you can see why Skip was willing to break the bank to try to get some of that hairstylist. Now, I'm not condoning this by any means, all right, but I can see why, if this is true. He wanted some of that voluptuousness. Now, that was another thing in the lawsuit too, where she was saying that, Skip said I was voluptuous, but due to her being foreign, she didn't understand what voluptuous was. And then once she found out what voluptuous was, she was mortified. And I think that's one of these things that these lawyers use. I got a good tickle out of mortified in the Lizzo lawsuit. So I guess being mortified is a thing. So that girl was mortified when she found out that she was called voluptuous by Skip. But all in all, man, I think that this lady here, because some of this stuff was dating back a few years, and she was rocking and rolling until she got fired. And I guess this young lady was building a case the whole time. I guess she felt like she was done wrong enough initially. She said she was reporting some of this to HR. So I guess she was feeling as though like, hey, you know, if and when they pull a plug on me, I'm gonna pull the plug on them. So I think that this was a thought out situation from this hairstylist in a sense where, I guess she's been, plotting this in a way. I don't want to say in a nefarious kind of way, but plotting it in a way where, hey man, y'all are doing me wrong around here. I'm gonna make sure y'all get y'all's, and I'm gonna get mine out of that. So yeah, she as soon as she got fired in like August of last year, I think it said. So yeah, she didn't waste any time. It was a quick turnaround from her losing her job to this, and basically saying it was an unhealthy working environment. So um, I think if she has at least some of this evidence in her favor, I don't know how she's going to prove most of this unless she was doing a little rod situation where she was taking pictures and recording. Then she I don't know how she can prove some of this, but if she can, she's going to get a little bit of bag out of this. So, but yeah, man, Joy Taylor got she's catching a wild rap right now. People scrolling on her Instagram and putting two to two together and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff, man. They just throwing Miss Taylor under the bus. But hey, man, uh, if if this is true, man, you can't be too surprised in that industry that some people got on for reasons other than their on screen talent. So what are your thoughts, man, on this whole situation, man? Joy Taylor, Acho, what's that? Ernestine. What are your thoughts, man?
So when this first broke,
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching people on YouTube like Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock, for example, two people who used to be on Fox,
That's right.
and they are making very compelling cases that a lot of this is true.
Mm-hmm.
With like you, I'm going to couch my opinions by saying if this is true,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I don't know, but some of these individuals are using their own platforms to
Mm-hmm.
speak on this as if it's
Especially
true,
Marcellus, bro.
especially Wiley. Especially Wiley, because Wiley was on Speak for Yourself,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
show that is alleged to have been leveraged by Joy Taylor to be a part of,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow Marcellus Wiley just wasn't on the show anymore, and it became Acho and Joy Taylor
Mm-hmm.
and McCoy. So how these things happen, I don't know, but if you read some of these tea leaves and you put on a tinfoil hat and you connect enough dots, some of it kind of makes sense. Although again, it's alleged if we know it to be true or not. Here's what I will say to kind of make it a galaxy brain discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, First, I will say that it makes the ideology behind women empowerment look bad. I think it underscores it because if you follow Joy Taylor enough throughout the years as she's risen the ranks throughout Fox,
Mm-hmm.
she has spared no expense to discuss how hard she's had to work as a woman to get to where she is.
Yeah, I bet.
And she spared no expense to talk about how difficult women have it in the professional landscape, particularly in male dominated spaces like professional sports. And she's talked often about how women have it hard. Women have to work twice as hard to get to the same level. And, women have to do more work in addition to their merit to be on the same playing field as men in this same space. And she has essentially insinuated that throughout her career, her work ethic and her credentials are the sole reason as to why she's gotten here. And if any of this stuff is true, it completely undermines all of that stuff that she's been talking about all this time. Completely undermines it. And it completely undermines it for other women who may or may not have done the same thing in similar situations, but will also pay lip service to the fact that they've just got it strictly off their hard work and nothing else. Um, this makes a lot of that look bad because I do believe that in this day and age, as our society continues to try to force the idea of gender neutrality, you have these bad faith actors like allegedly Joy Taylor who will speak to the idea that men and women are the same and that men and women should be viewed the same and therefore women can do all the things that men can do if not better. And if that is a truth, if that is actually a true sentiment, then of course, conventionally, women should not have to leverage themselves in a sexual manner in order to get ahead. Their marriage should be able to get that done for them. And if any of this is alleged to be true, it completely underscores the fact that even in this day and age, despite the lip service that we pay to the idea that men and women are the same, we still relent, nevertheless, to the reality that we are not the same. And I think women in certain positions, in my opinion, will try to double talk and they will try to play up the idea of empowering women while using certain things when convenient for them to their advantage that go back to the old way that things used to be done in order to get what they want. And they'll try to play both sides. So I think that that's an interesting angle that I thought of, and the results of this, the how true they are or not, will obviously matter in terms of whether that is an angle that needs to be taken more seriously. But that was the first thing that came to my mind when all this stuff broke. There's a lot of hypocrisy going on with people who are in positions of leverage, utilizing their leverage to get ahead in a lot of ways that completely undermine their public speak when it comes to how their merit and their skills and their accomplishments are the sole reason that they're in the position that they're in.
Mhm.
The second thing that I thought of is how I think stories like this are going to, as time moves along, they're going to eliminate the fallacy that corruptive tendencies are gender specific. I think as we continue to advance and women get into positions of power and women are at the top of the totem pole and women are running companies and corporations and some people want women to run the country. As we continue to get to this point where these things are going to continue to become more of a mainstay, I think the world is going to learn that corruptive tendencies are not gender specific and that rather it is power that corrupts and that it's not gender specific. I think for the longest time, we have sort of, not me or you even, but I think the general sentiment has been an acceptance of the idea that an abuse of power and abusing authority is something that is specific unto men. And I've always contended that it's not specific unto men. It's just specific unto humans who have been able to operate with impunity in positions of power for long enough. And I personally believe, in my opinion, that the longer we go with more women retaining positions of power, you're going to start seeing that those corruptive tendencies will affect them as well. We started to see the beginnings of this with people like Ghislaine Maxwell,
Mhm, mhm.
the Epstein disciple, the one who was actually pulling the strings, and then with other people like that woman who ran that what was the name the name of the chick who she started like a blood, there was some sort of cutting edge technology.
Oh, yeah. I don't know her name, but I know you're talking
You know what
about.
I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pull it up real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, and it turned out that she was a phony and a fraud,
Hmm.
but she was using her position of power to get what she wanted and to siphon billions of dollars before it was discovered that she was stealing from people, and she ended up getting convicted and going to prison. So, we see people like this, and the more you see instances like this over time, in my opinion, I think we will come to find that corruptive tendencies, corruption, abuse of power, abusive natures, I believe that that is in. I believe that all of these things are inherent in humans who are able to retain positions of power and leverage with impunity for long enough, and that it is not gender specific. And we will come to understand that it is not solely an aspect of a man's nature to abuse his authority and to abuse his power and to abuse his power in ways to get what he wants or advantageously to be able to sort of get what he needs out of people. So those were kind of the two main takeaways that I took from this initially. As more details continue to unravel and we eventually reach a point of conclusion at some point in the future as to the um, veracity of a lot of these claims. But for right now, a lot of it looks pretty bad. And if you listen to a lot of the content creators who claim to have receipts on this story, um, it's not really looking good for Joy at this time. But I think beyond Joy Taylor, because I think at the end of the day, she'll be good no matter what. I think it really does undermine all of this talk, especially in the sports world, but even beyond, of this notion of gender neutrality and what it means for women to be empowered to be the same as men and do the same things as men, and how we want to break some certain barriers down, but not so long as certain people can continue to take advantage of those leverages, so long, to take advantage of those barriers whenever it's convenient for them. And I think that if any of this is true, that's what Joy was doing, and I think it makes her a hypocrite in the process.
Yeah, hey man, I hear that. And Elizabeth Holmes, that was the name of that fraudster lady.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was her. And
yeah.
yeah, what's your boy Antonio Brown, AB, CTESPN. Yeah, he had threw out a tweet, and he was saying, I guess nobody wanted to F Jamel Hill then, because her name didn't pop up in the damn thing. So AB is getting a good laugh out of this too, and I think more people. I mean, I think this is more of a man thing. I think there's more people over here in the man area where because we're watching all of this sports stuff and we're very familiar with Joy. If you've been watching sports stuff for the past, I don't know, half decade or whatever, I mean she's been all over everything. So we're very familiar with her, and so the guys for the most part we're just more or less shocked in the sense that like just the whole thing, like man, she would really go that far. But in the lawsuit, it was basically saying that, hey, man, she was throwing shots at us. Say, hey, man, she was just a bartender and a radio person in Miami. Saying she rose through the ranks like that. And you saying, hey, man, she was putting in all this hard work like she claimed and all this other stuff. She probably meant uh, when she's listen. There's one thing, and this is no dig. All right, but one thing that I've noticed in the double speak that can go on sometime with these city girls is that um they do this plausible deniability thing and they give you ambiguous talk which is kind of double meaning. And if she's always talking about the hard work that she put in and all this other stuff, and she really meant that, but she didn't expound on what she meant by all of that hard work. But if there's some pasty Fox exec, that's probably what she was getting at. Like, hey man, it ain't sweet out here, and you gotta do your thing in order to be in the position that she's in. But to be fair, on the flip side of that, there's all kinds of things going on in the hip hop world. There's allegations going on over there where men were being procured by other men, so they can be in these positions. And some of those guys had to really work hard to get in the position that they're in. And so I think this is more of a uniform thing that goes on in these industries where there's a culture of you got to give a little to get a little. And so, and for the people that don't play ball, those are the people that you don't hear about. And for the ones that do, those are the ones that are in your feed and you see all the time. Now, what's the percentage on that? I don't know. but I'm pretty much in a boat where it's the overwhelming majority of people have been either compromised or put in compromised positions in order to be in the position that they are on TV or radio or whatever. So that's the part about this why I wasn't surprised. And again, I thought Joy made it off the umph of her brother. I figured it was some type of, you know, I know it's not the definition of nepotism, but some nepo type of situation where she just eased her way in off that. But if she had to do her thing like this, hey man, it is what it is. But she did go through a couple situations with men that's highly publicized where she divorced. I think what it says, she divorced a husband and then broke up with a fiance.
She was engaged to Earl Watson. You remember Earl Watson? He used to be a
Yeah,
point guard
man.
in the league. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was engaged to Earl Watson, and they broke off the engagement. So they never got married, but it was publicized when they were engaged and when they were together. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, she's been in these situations where, you know, uh she she was acting like a city girl. You go on her Instagram and she's no different than those model chicks that we talk about and we rail on. We'll talk about Drea Michelle later. But yeah, she's no different when she's posing in her pictures and stuff like that. So what's the angle here?
Yeah.
Is this because you made it off of your intellect? Is it because, or you made it off some other kind of brain work? Who knows?
Well, she speaks. That's the thing about it, is she speaks. The double talk is a problem because of the dishonesty and the lying. Alle- allegedly.
Allegedly, if
Yeah.
if this is
So
true.
right. So it isn't that she worked her way up in that fashion, if it's true.
Mhm.
It's that she takes every opportunity she can while doing her
To
job
throw it in everybody's
to,
face.
to assert that that's not what happened. That she got it out the mud, that she worked her way up from local radio in Miami after going to Barry, and
She went
don't
to
throw
Barry.
don't throw don't throw her brother in her face, because she'll refute that with the quickness,
Yeah,
that she did it all on her own,
that's
that it
true.
was all through her hard work, that she earned this through the merit of her credentials and her work and her education and her achievements.
Hmm.
So that's the hypocrisy potentially that is in play here, is that it entirely underscores the idea that any of that is true if you're just giving up box to get ahead, like a lot of these other women who are doing the very same thing. But you'd never know about it because, as you intimated, they're not on. I agree with you 100% on your general assessment about about how corrupt high level media is.
Hmm.
I feel as though once you get into the high level of any lucrative industry, you're going to see the same thing. So
Hmm.
whether it's music, entertainment, movies, sports, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure they do this in the financial industry, real estate. I'm pretty sure there's a cabal in the real estate
Hey
industry.
man, it used to happen at my Walmart that I worked at.
Right? Yeah. Where no matter where you go, the higher
Um,
up that you look, there's a cabal. I'm pretty
mhm.
sure the fitness industry is the same thing. I'm pretty sure if you're trying to work at the flashiest, hottest, most high profile gym and you want to be a trainer, you might have to look a little boot to get in. So this goes on everywhere. But people who cop to this don't so readily take every opportunity they can to get in front of a camera, suggesting that they didn't cop to this. And the problem with Taylor is that she's taking every opportunity she can to get in front of a camera and say, I didn't cop to this. Meanwhile, she was copping to this.
Mhm.
And so it just completely undermines all of this stuff. And I do firmly believe that nowadays, and that's the fallacy behind the ideal, and this is the last thing that I'll say.
Mhm.
One of the principal fallacies of modern feminism is the idea that proponents of it want to see all aspects of it go away. I don't think
Mhm.
that's true. They just want to see the aspects of it that don't benefit them go away. But
Mhm.
the aspects of it that they do benefit from, they want those things to remain. So you don't actually want complete and utter neutrality. You just want the things that you want. And the things that work to your detriment, those are the things that you want to see go away.
Yes.
Because if it was really about wanting it all to go away, you would be working hard and using your work ethic and education to get to where you need to go, and wouldn't be playing on your looks and your body. And as you and I very well know, even if a woman isn't giving up box, she will certainly take advantage of her looks and her body and her face and her hair and whatever else she needs to take advantage of when convenient, to be able to sort of creep into certain advantageous spots that she'd otherwise have to maybe work a little harder or wait a little longer for. And sure, she can hide behind the idea that she never gave up box, but you're still taking advantage of a lot of the things that you claim to have a problem with when it comes to this male-dominated world that you're constantly victimized by. And I would argue, how much of a victim are you when you can utilize those things to your advantage when convenient? And I think that people like Taylor, if this is true, are playing into that. And I think that's the dangerous part of the entire conversation with respect to the notion that we are trying to create this utopian society where men and women can do the same things and we're all the exact same human. And the truth is, we're not, and we never will be.
Yeah, 100, bro. And for Joy Taylor, I hope she doesn't have bad pH. But it sounds like according to this allegation, she was giving it up to both at the same time. So I hope her pH is balanced. But that unprovoked post that Acho made, basically saying that a black woman made
Right.
it to the top all on her own. Nobody asked for that, Acho.
Nobody. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? You look a little crazy yourself over there.
And he deleted it.
And
And
delete, and delete.
of course, let's not read anything into the fact that he deleted it.
Yeah, right. Come on, Acho, clean that up, bro. You know what I'm saying? How long have you been on top, man? You got to know. You got to keep riding this out like Skip. Skip keep posting like nothing happened. He's sitting there talking about everybody else. And you got to follow the. See, Skip been in the game, so he gonna sit here and play dumb. You know what I'm saying? But Ernestine's gonna have some words with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's for damn sure. And for that 1.5, people out there making fun about the 1.5, and I don't think it was a 1.5 for the box on one go around. You know what I'm saying? I think there was like you know what I'm saying? He was putting money down on that.
Yeah, he wanted to put her. He wanted to put her on retainer.
On retainer, box
Yeah.
on retainer.
Yeah.
So hey, man. So it is what it is with all this stuff. But just again, just to tie it all in, is that yes, if this is true, Joy is just she's just a female person that was that gave up box to get to the top. But like I said, man, there's males out here that give up the booty box to get the positions that they got in, but they ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just think it's part of the industry. And but Joy, I hope this ain't true, sister. I hope this ain't true.
Yeah. Yeah. For her sake, I hope it's not true.
That's crazy, especially
Yeah.
the part where she said she gonna cap about it and then
Yeah.
throw bro's whole life under the bus.
Yeah.
That's insane too, man.
That is insane. That does not look good, man. But yeah, I hope either way, like, just because I don't like to see people suffer in general, I
Mhm.
hope that it is not true. But it's a 42-page document, and it ain't looking it ain't looking good right now. So we'll see how it all plays out, but it just really makes her look kind of funny in hindsight. All of those years that she spent on these TV shows talking about how she earned her way there in the traditional sense, not in the, you know, not in the giving it up sense. So um it's curious, man. But she's still on TV. She's still doing the TV show like ain't nothing happened. So I guess that's because there's no criminality being implicated here. It's all civil.
Mhm.
But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But so far, very explosive situation.
Hey, good luck, Skip. Good luck.
Skip independent, so he's straight. He ain't a Fox
Nah,
employee anymore.
I'm
So
talking about
all he's risking right now is his public reputation.
yeah, and Ernestine gonna send him to the cleaners.
Well, that too. Yeah.